So Skyscraper, this is a movie people were billing as potentially this generation's Die Hard. They were close. This is more like this generation's Die Hard 5. And with that, I'm working with to another episode of The Road Mentor. My goal, as always, is to enhance the movie watching experience. So Skyscraper, of course, starring everyone's favorite movie star, The Rock. He's back again in an effort to meet his 65 movies a year quota he's trying to make, apparently. Here he's playing a former FBI agent dealing with more in hostage situations, and in a situation gone wrong, he ends up losing his leg, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it led to him meeting his wife, played by Nina Campbell, who was a surgeon. And of course, now he has a couple of kids now, and it's all good. So now through a friend, he ends up getting this brand new job, testing out the safety protocols, security protocols for one of the most advanced buildings in the world, probably the most advanced building in the world, which happens to be the tallest building by far over any other structure the world has ever seen. Now, unfortunately, before he's able to really complete his assessment of the building, this mysterious group comes in, they take over in an effort to obtain this piece of information from the owner himself. They set the building on fire to kind of get things in motion. And of course, puts The Rock's family in danger, which we all know is a huge mistake because there's a few things in this world you don't want to do. And one of them is piss off The Rock. Of course, it leads him to try to get himself back into the building, save his family, and kick a little ass. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't Die Hard 5. It's nothing that bad. Now, let me say this. I mean, I love The Rock. He's one of my favorites, of course. And he, unfortunately, doesn't always pick the best movies to do. And most of them really end up being bad to mediocre. Yeah, something like Jumanji, which is an aberration. I actually liked that movie. It was fun. It was enjoyable. But most of the times we get Rampage, Baywatch, and we get the Central Intelligence, who, of course, directs both of these movies, which explains this movie's mediocrity. Now, as usual, The Rock is the best thing about this movie. He's usually the best thing about any of his movies. I always affectionately refer to him as movie ketchup. Take a bland meal, taste this meal, put some ketchup on there, and it just tastes a little bit better. That's kind of what The Rock does here, but make no mistake. Ketchup does not a gourmet meal make here. And in this situation here, you have this bland movie, which is poorly written, and this, leads to The Rock being really the only thing that really stand out with the notice. Actually, him and Neve Campbell's wife, who are actually liking this role, and it's nice seeing her back in the big screen in a movie like this. She actually gets the time to shine, kick a little ass. But aside from The Rock and Neve Campbell, there's nothing else, no other characters that were written worth of anything in this movie, particularly the villain, as one note, as one-dimensional as it gets. And if we want to compare this movie to Die Hard, there's one thing that Die Hard excelled at, was it gave us great side characters, and it gave us a fantastic villain in Hans Gruber, which elevated the whole movie. This movie lacks that entirely. It's by the numbers. There's really nothing special going on here. It's actually, by the end, I was actually kind of bored, to be honest with you. You have some interesting scenes, cool moments of action and suspense and all that. And don't get me wrong, you have The Rock here with one leg doing what most people can't do with 4 legs. But all that being said, you're going to have to suspend your disbelief by a large amount. But it's expected in a movie like this, and I'm fine with that. I really am. But some things that happen, it just is dumb, doesn't make sense. People just pop in different locations. I don't know how they even got there. And I don't want to spoil anything. So a couple of things I really would love to mention, but I won't. But essentially, this movie just falls flat. Again, the action is okay. And if it wasn't for The Rock, this movie would not be worth watching at all, which is the biggest problem here. It's just middle of the road. I actually enjoyed Rampage more than I did this, and that doesn't really say much for either of these movies. Now, ultimately, because of his lackluster script and, just middle of the road action here, despite The Rock's best efforts, I can honestly recommend you guys go watch it. This is a perfect movie you guys will rent down the road, and it's worth watching at home. I have no problem with that. I'll go as far as to say that. There are some of the casual fan could get some enjoyment out of this, watching it at home, renting it for $5, as opposed to spending $10 to $15 to go to the theater to actually watch this movie. Because there's really nothing special, nothing really stands out. You're going to see this, and an hour later, you're really going to forget about it completely. So ultimately, Skyscraper, you guys are going to watch it. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.